Mrs. James. Today we're going to be doing the quadratic journal notes. These notes need to be in your journal. Just put it on the next blank page of that journal. I just want to give a quick shout out to third period because you guys rocked today when we were doing all those charting. Y'all were one of the only classes that actually got to the full page and did your graph. So props to y'all. Good job. So today we're going to look at this website that I found last night because I thought it was a good way to show y'all how the quadratic equation can change the parabola back and forth. So let's first look at A, and let's look at the effects of A when we make it into a negative number. Okay, let's do this. See what's happening to our graph? Parabola's reflecting over the x-axis. All right. Put it back on. I'm going to try to get it back on 1. Okay. And then let's look at what C does. So as it goes up the y-axis and then goes down the y-axis as you get to negatives. All right. So I just want to give you a quick little visual before we go further on in these notes. So go ahead and write this down. The parent function of a quadratic equation is y equals a or x squared plus c. And a is the coefficient of the x squared. And c is the constant. Now that is what makes it go up and down the y-axis. Alright guys, we're just going to explore the perimeter changes on quadratics a little bit further. I want you to look at that a in front of the coefficient of x squared and think to yourself, what happens if I put a negative sign in front of that a? What happens to the function? Well, as you saw earlier, it reflects across the x-axis. So that a, the effect that it has on a function is it causes it to stretch or compress vertically. Guys, when I say stretch, I mean it makes it skinnier, and compress means it gets fatter. So what if the absolute value of a is greater than 1? Then if that happens, it stretches vertically. But if the absolute value of a was between 0 and 1, so it was a decimal, it would compress vertically. Remember, compress means to get fatter, and stretch means to get skinnier. And then this type of transformation is called a dilation. And guys, remember what we did on Friday with dilations? That's exactly what's happening right here. I'm sorry. If it's greater than 1, then it stretches vertically. And then if it's between 0 and 1, so that means it's a decimal, it compresses vertically. All right. So now that we talked about A, we're going to go ahead and look at what effect does C have on a function. So the C, as you remember from that from that math website that I showed you earlier, the C causes it to shift vertically up and down the y-axis. Alright guys, and what happens if this C is negative? So it's if it's negative, it vertically shifts downward. And so it's the opposite if it was positive. It vertically shifts upward. So guys, as you can see here, we made a linear versus quadratic chart. And linear, as we've been talking about for the last few days, is y equals x, while quadratic is when you square the x. So your equation is y equals x squared. These are the parent functions of both of these two functions. Let's look at the b first. On the linear side, it says y equals mx plus c. The b is the y-intercept for linear equations. But on the other side, on the quadratic side, y equals ax squared plus c. C is also where the parabola crosses the y-axis. It is the y-intercept. So let's prove that. So let's go back to this website. And guys, I want you to keep an eye out for this axis and see where the parabola, what happens with it. Okay, so watch what I'm doing with the C. It's where the C crosses the y-axis. Okay, let me put this back at 1, guys. Ooh. Oh, sorry, it's kind of hard to... There we go. We know it's crossing the y-axis at 1, so even if I change A, looky there, it stays on that axis. Okay. Or even if I change this B, we're not getting into B quite yet in this class, but if I change this B, look what happens. The C stays on that y-axis, no matter what. So now you can kind of see how the quadratic equation relates to the linear equation back here. This B and this C are both y-intercepts. So let's look at that m on the linear equation. The m, as if it's negative, it goes down, and if it's a positive, it goes up. So that slope, if it's bigger, it also becomes more steep, and if it's smaller, it's less steep. So that m is the slope. Alright guys, looking at that quadratic side, looking back at that a, just like the slope on linear, the a, if it's negative, the parabola goes up. Oh, sorry guys, it's backwards. We're just going to rewrite it for you. If it's negative, the parabola goes down, and if it's positive, the parabola goes up. Negative, it's a very sad parabola, and it's frowning, so you can remember that. But if it's positive, it's very happy, so it's a happy parabola. And if the A was a bigger number, it becomes more stretched across your graph, and if it was smaller, it becomes less stretched. Alright guys, I hope you had a good review session on this. I just wanted to also mention that that you can now see how these kind of relate, because with the slope on the linear, it has the same qualities as this A does. And the coefficients also have the same kind of things that are happening on your graph. The y-intercept, and then this is the y-intercept. So let's do a quick little recap on our handy-dandy website. Sorry guys, I'm having trouble finding it. There it is. Alright, so let's do a quick recap. If we look at this A, let's put it back at 0. or 1, I'm sorry. Too busy trying to get that to fix. I'm going to put this B back to 0 because remember, in this class, we're not going to worry about the B right now. Alright, so let's look back what happens with this A. As the A goes smaller, it's like it's less steep. And then if you go look at the C, look at what's happening on the y-axis. It's moving down. Or you can move it back up. Alright, so guys, if you like this website and you want to go try it yourself, it's called mathisfun.com, and how appropriate because math is really fun. And this website is a great tool to go learn a little bit more about how the coefficient or the constants work in quadratic equations. So I'll see you guys in class tomorrow. I hope you'll have a good night. Don't forget to do your whisk tonight, guys. That's on the Google form that Miss Gesh made y'all. Okay. Alright guys, this is your whisk. It needs to go in your journal or find it online under Miss Gesh's links on her webpage. Remember, whisk means where you've seen this video, and S means give me a summary of what you learned in this video, and then Q is the questions that you're ready to ask us in class. See you tomorrow, guys.